Hey there YouTube, Tiki here. Today I'm going to do my October wrap up. So I've planned to read 13 books in this month, but I only managed to read 10. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I didn't finish the 13 books, but what can you do? So I'm quite happy. I've read. I read 10 books out of the 13, and one book has actually 4 books in it, so I counted it as, 7 through 10, so 7, 8, 9, 10. But anyway, first book, Crystal Lies by Melanie Carlson. This book is about drug abuse. It's not my typical read, but it's pretty good. Nonetheless, it turned out pretty good in the end. Wake by Lisa McMahon. This is surprisingly good also. Anyway, this is a good series. I highly recommend it if you like people that have dreams come reality of some sort. But yeah, this is pretty good. Following that's Fade, also by Lisa McMahon. This is the second book in the series. It's actually a third book in the series that I don't have yet, and I think it's Gone is the name of it. But this is actually has romance in this series too, so it's pretty good. It's not my typical read again, but it was pretty good in the end on how it all came together. So it actually continues from Wake. 13th, The 13th by Susan Maloney. Now I planned on reading this the 13th of October, but it never happened that way. I was like 10 pages off when it hit midnight, so I didn't finish it on the 13th. So I finished it the following morning. After it hit midnight, I went to bed, so I finished it the morning when I woke up. So yeah, and this book kind of gave me creepy crawlies. Made my skin crawl because in some parts it made my skin crawl because it was kind of, I don't know, not my typical read, so it kind of made me, my skin crawl. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you want to read it. Chime by Franny Billingsley. Now this book was quite slow paced in the beginning, so after like chapter 3 maybe it kind of picked up a bit, or picked up altogether. So if you love witches, then I highly recommend this book. But just be warned, like I said, it might be slow paced for you, it might not be, but I know it was slow paced for me. So this was actually a pretty good book in the end. You got your romance, or your forbidden romance, I suppose, in here, so it was actually pretty good. Next book is Monster by Dean Myers. Now this book was good, but in a way I liked it, but in a way I didn't, because it kind of seemed I don't know how to put this without offending anyone, but I don't know, it just seemed a little bit racist to me, because a colored person got accused of something that he didn't do, and it always happens that way. A colored person gets accused of something that he didn't do by another race of a person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's true. I just think it was a little racist to me. I'm not putting any negativity on this book, but it just seemed, the book is not racist itself. It's just on how it happened. You know, a black colored person got accused of something that he didn't do, and had to go on trial and such, and had to be in prison for something he didn't do. And in the end, it surprisingly picked up because, you know, it happened. You know, it didn't happen, and he didn't. You know, it picked up. I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. It's just a little racist to me, because of how it's set. But it's a pretty good book nonetheless. So if you want to read it, go ahead. Now, this is the 7 through 10 books because it has 4 books in one. So it has Into the Forest of the Night, A Demon to My View, Shattered Mirror, and Midnight Predator, all by Amelia Atwater Rhodes. So this is called the Den of Shadows Quartet. I loved every single book in this series. I've read most of her work of what she's written so far. So yeah, these books were surprisingly good. I loved all of them because they have vampires in it and forbidden love. You know, like vampires couldn't go with witches or humans. And vice versa, witches couldn't go with vampires or humans or whatever. But they all was surprisingly good. So yeah, and one was actually about an author that was in the book, and her fiction actually she thinks that her fiction vampires became reality, which they did, but I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but it was pretty surprisingly good. And that one's Demon to My View. She's actually a high school student that's an author, and 2 new students came in to join, I guess, high school, and it turned out to actually be her fictional characters in her book. So it's kind of weird how she actually written that together, even though she's the author of the book, which is kind of weird, but it's actually pretty good. So I highly recommend this book, and highly recommend if you get the Den of Shadows Quartet, so you don't have to have those, you know, different books as a physical copy, even though I have them as a physical copy of each book, but I decided to read this one since it's all together. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've read this month. So yeah, Tiki out.